guy like came up to us and he was like, "Oh, what's up, spaceman?" It's just like, yup, that's what we look like.
I think it's pretty easy to make the case for small businesses. I know that's sort of like a cliche political phrase or whatever, but small businesses are the lifeblood of America because it fosters so much more of the community element, right? When you have these big mega farms or even businesses, it doesn't matter what industry you're talking about, they sort of lose touch with their community, and I think everyone knows that, right? When you can still maintain that sort of family element or small business element to it, I think it remains a lot more wholesome. Of course, there are exceptions. It's just important because it keeps the community rooted in itself. My name is Tony Slavik, and I'm a beekeeper from the Central Valley, California. My parents actually immigrated here in 1992 from what was formerly known as the Soviet Union. My dad started working here as a ranch hand, and he noticed that every year around February, people would be bringing in bees. So he was always curious about bees, and eventually he bought bees and sort of, over the years, worked them, grew them, and eventually became a full-time beekeeper. And of course, I ironically didn't really like beekeeping for the first few years that he was into it. Well, obviously bees are kind of scary, they're intimidating, they can sting you and stuff. But eventually I came around and started working with him, and now we have a family business of it. So people kind of have a misconception that honey is bee vomit, which it is regurgitated, but it's not involuntary regurgitation, so that's the key factor. But basically what happens is bees will travel from flower to flower, and what they'll do is they'll absorb or suck on, get the nectar from the flower, and pollen if it has that, and they'll bring that back to the hive. And what they do is they sort of exchange it with other worker bees within the hive. There's a special enzyme they have in one of their stomachs, sort of changes the chemical nature of the nectar and it converts it into something else. But it's not quite honey yet, and they sort of regurgitate it back into the cell, the bee cell. And from then on, they have to fan it and sort of dehumidify it and extract the water from it. It's a little process, but eventually it'll turn from a very water-rich substance into a water-depleted substance. And then you have honey. I grew up in a small town, agricultural community called Chowchilla. All you have around you is this either almond fields, grape fields, orange fields. That's all you have around you. That's what I'm used to. But fortunately, because of the lifestyle that my dad has been able to provide our family, I have been able to visit our homeland, Ukraine, several times over the years. So I did get to sort of experience the origins of my culture and all of that. So I do have an appreciation of other cultures, other backgrounds, but something about the Central Valley, I just love it. I love everything about this area. Yeah, I think my family's case is the classic American dream. I always sort of now, as I'm becoming a man or transitioning into somewhat more adulthood, I always think about my dad who came here at my age, and I just think how hard he ended up having to work and what his goals were, which was ultimately, providing for his family, protecting for his family, and securing their future. In this political climate, everybody has an opinion on the American dream, what's possible, costs, expenses, and it's true. I mean, things are uncertain, but America is the one place where you are the most guaranteed the fruits of your labor if you work hard. I'm not saying it's perfect, but I'm saying this is the land of opportunity if there is one.